Alrighty, you guys, welcome to our Thursday night team Zoom. And for those of you that are brand new to the team, or maybe you're a guest on here tonight and you're like, what the heck is Mill? Like, what does that mean? So our team Mill stands for Multiple Income Leaders because it's 2024, almost 25, and we are embracing the multiple streams of income. Back, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, it was so cool to be like, I quit all my jobs, retired my husband. All we do is it works, which is great. If that's the life you have, amen to you. That's the life I had for a very long time. But guess what? Times have changed. And I live in California. So multiple streams of income is really, really, really smart right now. So that's why instead of it being like, oh my gosh, I had to go back and get another job, I'm so embarrassed. It's no, I have a job. I have it works, like whatever it is, we embrace those multiple streams of income. So that is why we are Team Mill. So we do this Zoom normally at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. I think you guys that shifted your schedules a little bit so you can be on here a little bit early because we do have an amazing guest speaker on here tonight from the East Coast. So it is 10 o'clock her time. So we did change it to make it a little bit earlier tonight. But before we jump into our topic, I wanted to give some recognition and some announcements real quick. We wanted to announce that we do have 14, yes, 14 new distributors so far this month. It's the 14th of November, and I feel like we've gotten at least one a day on our team, so that's really exciting. So our top distributor enrollers so far for November, we have Nikki with 3 new distributors. We have Lizzie with 5, and then myself with 6. So I'm coming after, like, Kaitlyn's going to talk about our stocking stuffer and Christmas cash bonuses. And if you know anything about that, you know that for every 3 distributors, that might unlock a bonus for you. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow Kaitlyn's footsteps. And then for our perks members, you guys, we already have 39 perks members as a team, which we are more than halfway to our total from last month. So that's really exciting. So top enrollers so far for November, we have Nikki again with 5 perks members. We have Liz with 7. And then you guys, I have 8 perks members. So that's 2 Christmas cash bonuses. But let me tell you something real quick before we start tonight. I only had 4 when I woke up this morning. I only had 4 customers. And just since this morning, I've enrolled 4 new customers, you guys, that were not even planned. They were not people that were telling me they were going to order today. They were people that I followed up with, or they were people that commented on my post. So you guys, you just never know when something's going to happen. So if you're counting yourselves out and you're thinking, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this Christmas cash, you never know what's going to happen in one day. So that's why I wanted to share that. And then I do want to give a shout out real quickly to Enai Rodriguez, who's on here, who is about 200 in volume away from promoting to Ruby. And it's only the 14th. So very, very exciting. So, all right, you guys. So I wanted to start with a little bit of recognition, but I definitely want to welcome Kaitlyn to our Zoom tonight and her team. You guys, Kaitlyn is amazing. Kaitlyn is a sideline sister. Gosh, when did we officially meet, Kaitlyn? Where was it at? It wasn't conference, was it? Was
I
it?
know we met in Punta. Did we meet in
I
Punta?
thought we had, or you know what I think it was? I think we had met on Zooms and had been
Yeah.
Zooms
Well,
where,
I knew Shauna. I've known Shauna for like 8 years.
yes, that's
So
right.
I think that's how I connected with you.
Yeah. And then we both earned a trip to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And that's where we officially got to meet in person. And I just love you to death. And you guys, her story is incredible. And you guys, if you didn't know this, Kaitlyn, and it's probably more by now, but Kaitlyn has already earned 1 stocking stuffer bonus. Stocking stuffer bonus is $1,000. That's not her monthly commission, you guys. That is a weekly bonus, right? That's paid out weekly. So did you get that today?
Uh, Yesterday, $1,100 because
Oh,
I had an extra 4 customers on top of it.
oh my gosh,
No
you guys.
shot. Well, I finished my bonus on Saturday, so I wasn't even expecting the $1,000 this week, but it was
Gosh.
on there. So
Oh my
we got
gosh.
we got our weekly bonus yesterday, and then we got our commission today. I was like, Heck yeah, sign me up.
Heck
Let's get it
yeah.
another one next week.
I love it, you guys. So I wanted her to come on tonight and just kind of, because some of us might be going, gosh, I don't know if I can do it. And then you hear from Kaitlyn that's already done it. Some of you guys are trying to do one by the end of the month. And she's going to share with us tonight how we can do at least one and do it right away instead of feeling like we have to wait towards the end of the month, right? So, Kaitlyn, I'm going to let you take it away and just I kind of shared with you what we were looking for tonight. But I definitely want you to share your story and then just kind of jump in and tell us what you've done and what we can do to duplicate earning that Christmas cash so soon in the month.
Yeah. So, first of all, if you don't know me, my name's Kaitlyn Desloge. I've been in this business 8.5, almost 9 years come February, which is so crazy. Looking back, I joined this when I was 21 and I just turned 30 last month. I'm still processing being in my 30s, but I'm embracing it. But this business has completely, like, my life is so different now because of It Works. And so, before I joined this business, I was working a lot. And feel free to put a one in the chat if you have worked a lot of jobs or if you've just worked like crazy hours or just you're super busy. That was me. I was working 3 to 4 jobs, 6 to 7 days a week. There were some days, some weeks I never had a day off. I was working 50 to 60, sometimes more hours a week. And it was exhausting working all the time. But I truly feel like the reason I worked so much was because growing up, both my parents are teachers and they had 2 jobs each. They could not afford to live off of teacher salaries here in North Carolina. And so I can't even imagine California pricing, but like my parents couldn't afford life if they didn't have a second job. And so my entire life, both my parents have always worked all the freaking time. So that was normal for me growing up. And so once I graduated high school, I really didn't know my life purpose. And feel free to put a two in the chat if you have ever felt like you don't know what your life purpose is in life. That was me. I changed my major like 5,000 times because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I tried college for about a year, year and a half, and I couldn't really afford it. It's crazy how we couldn't afford financial aid because they said my parents made too much, but yet we really didn't make that much. And so we had to pay out of pocket. And I quickly realized that what I was going to school for, I didn't want a regular typical 9 to 5 job for the rest of my life. Yeah, like I know I'm supposed to get a big girl job, but that's just not what I want. And so I ended up dropping out of school and I was actually working 2 jobs while in college. I ended up starting to work the 3 to 4 jobs, and that's kind of like where the beginning of my life was. And I got sick of it. And I hated being tired all the time and just working all the time. And yet there were still times I was living in the negatives. And I actually shared this on a corporate live in the Road to VIP page today. But like, I remember my heart wrenching moment was when my dad would text me and say, Kaitlyn, you hit the negatives again. Your bill's due on Friday. And that just sucks. And so I started praying. I was like, there's got to be something else out there. Like, either I go back to school or find a career path or something. And shortly later, a couple months later, I found a girl on Facebook. She was very consistent posting, and I followed her journey for a little bit. And one day she reached out to me and just built a relationship with me and offered this business. And I did not join right away, not because I wasn't interested. I would just forget to respond back to her. She followed up with me for like 3 months. And so just know that's a key thing. Write that down, follow up, because she still says it to this day. She's like, Kaitlyn, you left me on red so many freaking times. And I'm like, it's not because I wasn't interested. I was very interested. I would just get busy because I was working so many jobs, I would forget to respond. And so I'm just so thankful that she followed up with me because obviously this business has changed my life so much. So I jumped in and I did not move very fast. It took me about, I think it actually took me it took me 4 months to go Ruby. And then I stayed there for 2.5 years. Why? Because I reached my goal. I made that extra couple $100 that I was looking for. Within a few months, I was able to quit 2 of my jobs. Like, life was okay. And then after a couple of years, and I don't know how in depth you want me to share my story, but if you really don't know my in depth story, I've had a lot of life happen. And after 2 years, me and my high school boyfriend, we were talking about marriage. And if you don't know, wedding planning is so freaking expensive. And so obviously, again, my parents couldn't afford to pay for my wedding. So that was on me. And so my why got really strong. and I went to conference. So make sure you're going to conference. And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But going to conference really helped me cast like so much vision on what this could do for me. And my why just got so strong that I started taking the business actually serious instead of just like a hobby. And I started treating it like a business. And within a couple months, I went emerald. And then later that year, I went diamond. 6 months later, went to conference again. And then 25 days later, I went double. And that's when my life really started to change. I had gotten engaged during that time. And I also faced a broken engagement during that time. Literally, it was 6 days after I went double diamond. My ex fiance called it quits through a text message while I was at work and I could not leave my job. And I was the only one there. And that was the most hard feeling ever. I still remember it was 8 p.m. at night and I didn't get off till 10. And it was so frustrating not being able to leave the job because that was something really hard going through, obviously. And so it's things like that where I'm really grateful for this business, like not having to deal with that type of crap. But all of that to say is, I didn't realize it at the time, but during that same month that I went through one of the hardest situations in my life, I signed the most amount of distributors in my business. I signed 17 distributors that month. And I say that because I allowed that situation, it pissed me off, but I use it as fuel. And so I literally took, I think, 1 or 2 days off. And I think I only went 1 day without posting. I communicated with my leaders. They were the ones that were there for me the most, the people in this business. And so just know like your best friends are in this business. And I'm just so grateful for that. But what's crazy is, obviously going through that, I realized, you know what, I'm making enough money as a double diamond with this business. It was like a month and a half later, I quit my job and I've been home full time ever since. So I left my job back in April of 2019. I have not looked back. And it was like a couple months later, I purchased my own vehicle all on my own, no co-signer. At 24 years old, and it's crazy because my previous car, when I was working my freaking like 3 to 4 jobs, I couldn't get approved for that car because they said I didn't make enough. But yet with It Works, they're like, oh, heck yeah, you're totally fine. Like, we got you. Your credit score is great. Like, I was just like, this is crazy. Like 24 years old. Like, I never even thought that was a possibility. But life was just so great. And after that, when I transitioned to being home, I feel like this isn't talked about a lot because I know you had mentioned like being home like full time for a while and then going back to a job. You guys, during this time, I was not disciplined. I didn't know how to maintain doing this being home because you think when you quit your jobs, you have so much time on your hands. Let me tell you, I didn't know how to keep track of my time because I only knew how to work this business when I was working 40 plus hours. I only knew to work it on my lunch breaks and all these different times. I had no idea how to work it when I got home because I would just be like, oh, I have all day. And then my business would suffer. And then my business started to slow down. And so I say this to say is life happened. I had a really strong double diamond team. We pushed towards triple that year. It just didn't happen. I was forcing it. It wasn't on God's time. And I'm grateful for it because it wasn't with the right people. But we started tanking down and, all the way down to, we ended up getting back down to ruby. And I feel like this needs to be talked about is sometimes it happens. You lose rank. It happens. But it was a huge learning lesson for me that I hit rock bottom that year. And it was Christmas time. I had just paid off literally all of my debt besides the car earlier that year. And then all of a sudden, I'm back having to open up my credit card because I'm back at Ruby, only making $500 a month. That's not going to cover my bills. And it was in that moment when I hit my all-time low, and I know people have probably hit this before, or maybe you're in a low right now. That was my freaking reality. I had to realize, Kaitlyn, if you don't get your ish together, you're going to have to go back and get a 9 to 5. And that was my why. I was like, heck no, I'm never going back to a 9 to 5 just because I love the idea of being in control of my day and my time and my schedule. And so I put my blinders on. I stopped looking left and right. I just focused on myself, me and my team. And 4 months later, we went triple diamond. It was crazy. It was a whole God thing, but we were paid as Ruby in January and then got back diamond in February. And then we were this close to getting back double. It just didn't happen in March. And then April, we went triple, which was freaking crazy. And so I just want you guys to know what's crazy is when you put your head down and you stop looking left and right and just focus on you and growing your team and just bringing in so many new people. I mean, I had brand new diamonds that hit it in like 3 or 4 months. I didn't even know that was possible, but it's because I just had so much unwavering faith, and I actually took it so serious during that time. And all of a sudden, like towards the last couple of months, everybody was like, Kaitlyn, what is happening? And I'm like, it's because I haven't been focusing on y'all. Like I've just been in my own lane. But just know, like I've still had like a lot of life happen since then as well too. Now
Yep.
I'm married, to my best friend, and we've done a lot. Like I mean, I'm just so grateful for
What?
what this has done for me. And now we're pushing towards Prez, come around like conference or a little bit after. And my team is just so excited. And obviously, if you guys didn't see, I earned my first Christmas cash in 9 days. And I don't say that to brag at all, but I have not been a mass customer enroller in a very long time. But this month I was like, I'm changing things up. So, but that's my story basically in a nutshell. And I'm so grateful for this business. It's changed my life so much.
Oh my gosh, you guys, like I took away so much from that. And, like what she said, she goes, like her goal right now, like her why is to not go back to the 9 to 5. And if that's your goal, that's perfect. Like for me, I feel the same way. The 9 to 5 that I have is from home and it's remote for this job that I have. But I made sure when I got hired for this position, I said, this is my life. Let me tell you what my life is. I pick up my kids when I need to. I leave when I need to. I go to after school games. I do all the things. If you'll hire me with that schedule, I'll do it because I've lived so long with being able to do those things with my kids that I was like, if I'm going to go back to something, I want to be able to have that freedom of my schedule still. So she is able to do that and she's determined. So if maybe you hate your job, I don't hate my job. It's very actually pretty chill. But if you hate your job, right? Or if you're missing out on life, like this business can give you options, right? Options to go from full time to part time, maybe options to quit that job altogether, do this while you look for something that has a little bit more flexibility. Kaitlyn also said just now, like follow up. Like if you guys, some of you guys on here are brand new distributors, and I'm so happy you're on here for this, but like follow up. Hey, when you send a message to somebody and they leave you on red, most people think that means no. Most people thinks, oh, they read that. They're not interested. I'm never going to talk to them again about it because I don't want to bug them, right? That's your first initial reaction. But she said she was busy. How many of you guys have ever gotten a text message and you read it and then the light turned green and you're like, oh, let me go. And then you forget to reply. It's so important for you guys to think about, okay, they left me on red, but did they read it? They left me on red, but maybe they're interested, but they were busy. So just kind of remember the follow up. And you guys, she sat at Ruby for 2.5 years. You guys, Ruby is not a bad place to be. Ruby is somebody that has 3 distributors under them and has about 2,000 in volume in sales. Okay. So that is about an average of anywhere between like $200 to $600, depending on how much sales you have. That's a really sweet spot. That's a really, really good spot to be. So the fact that she openly and honestly said, I got to that position and I was comfortable and I was good, but then she decided that she wanted more. And I love that she shared that because so many people think staying at Ruby is like, oh, I'm only Ruby. But you're a Ruby. You're a Ruby making anywhere between $200 to $600 a month doing this. And if you weren't doing this at all, you wouldn't have that at all, right? So I just love those nuggets and everything that she shared. But she did mention that she earned the Christmas cash bonus, you guys, in 9 days. And you guys, it doesn't matter if she's been in the business for 2 weeks, 2 years, 9 years. You guys, anybody, no matter when you joined this business, no matter what you have done prior to today, anybody can make the decision today to go, you know what, I'm going to do what Kaitlyn's about to show me, and I'm going to go get this $1,000 or more in the next 9 days. So Kaitlyn, go ahead and jump right in and tell us how the heck did you get your bonus in 9 days?
Okay, so first of all, you guys, I like I mentioned before, I have not signed this many amount of customers in this short amount of time in a very long time. So, and what's really cool is a bunch of these were on the spot as well. So just know like you can grow brand new potentials and some will sign on the spot. Does that happen all the time? No. You still got to do follow ups. But I will say a huge component to this was on the first, when they first announced this, when they announced the bonus, I was like, I'm getting that. And the biggest thing is you have to say it every single day out loud. You have to claim it and give yourself a deadline. Like, for me, I told myself I'm getting it done by Friday. And you want to know what's crazy? I missed it by a couple, like, I think I was 2 or 3 customers short on Friday. And I almost was like upset, but then I'm like, Kaitlyn, I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm just going to get it done tomorrow. Who freaking cares, But give yourself a challenge, like really push yourself and give yourself a date that you're really going to lock it in by. And just think about it, you guys. Today's Thursday. You could still lock in at least $100 or $200 by tomorrow. Like, don't stress like, oh God, if I don't get my 12 by tomorrow, like it's not going to happen. Like, no, like still stretch yourself. But, just know at the end of the day, like you have to decide that you want it. Like how bad is $1,000 important to you? And for me, and I'm not going to share all of my new whys right now, because I have a very strong why right now. Like me and my husband want to have kids soon. Like we have like a lot of things that we want to do for our family. And, so it's important for me to do this, but also like I have to show my team that if I'm doing it, they can do it as well. And so first thing is making that decision. Second of all, you have to go crazy on host post. Okay. I have honestly, here's the thing, success leaves clues. So I was hearing from other leaders last month that were killing it with customers. And I'll just personally say, Kara, you guys probably saw Kara. She signed 60 customers from host post. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I reached out to her. I was like, sis, ma'am, tell me what you're doing. And just know, like, I've tweaked my stuff. Like, I don't use everything she does, but something that she shared was she's using Burn Hap. And I'm like, I have tried Burn Hap. It is just not working for me. Like, I've signed some people here and there, but it's just not. And I was like, okay, which one are you using? She shared a new one with me, you guys. And I'm telling you, and I can share it with you, Heather. It is chef's kiss. My team, anybody that's using it, go ahead and put in the chat how fire it is, because I get like 10 comments on them. It's freaking fire. Here's the thing though. You want to make sure all of your host posts, you have your person do @highlight in the comments. And also, like as an OG, I've been in this business for a very long time. Those of you that have been in the business a long time, or maybe this is your second go around, OG time, when we first had host posts come out, just know when I first joined, we didn't have host post, but when it first came out, it was popping off. Lots of comments on all of our host posts. And I feel like over the last few years, we've been kind of scared to continue to do host posts because you're not getting as many comments and you're so focused on content. Still do content, you guys. Like content is still how I get a lot of host posts up, from doing like giveaway reels, getting them, or giveaway TikToks, reels, getting them on your Instagram, having them post about the distributor opportunity in their stories, and then getting those people and asking like, hey, by the way, like, are you on Facebook? Get them on Facebook to post about the burn. And it's just opening up a whole new world. I mean, I've signed multiple people from that. And so, but the biggest thing is the burn host post. You have to do host posts literally every single freaking day, every day. Do not miss a day. There's some days I get up 10. There's some days I get up 3 to 5, but don't miss a day. Because one thing I've told my team is I feel like once you go a day or two without it, it's hard to get back into the habit of it. You have to stay consistent with host posts every single day. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care if you're having a hard day. And I don't say like, obviously if you're sick, like give yourself grace, like you don't have to push for 10 that day, but like you're laying there. Okay. You're functioning for like 2 minutes. You can send out messages. I remember, and I'm sorry, I get red sometimes, but I remember when I had the C word, okay, a few years ago, and me and my husband, he was my fiance at the time, we were dead sick for like 2 weeks. But this was my only income. Like and he was out of work. I was like, well, I literally slept most of the day. And whenever I woke up for 5 minutes, I sent out messages and went back to sleep. So just know, like, even when you're having like hard days, those couple minutes, like still get those posts out, because it will change your entire world. And so burn host posts on steroids, have everyone do it. DT host posts as well. I'm getting a lot of potential distributors from DT host posts as well. I'm also boosting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with TapLink. I use Tap Link, and I have that in my bio. And I also boost my host post with it, and it automatically texts me. So when people click it, it texts me automatically. And I have signed a couple customers on the spot from that as well. So I boost those as well. But another key component is fast following up. So I have mastered my conversations with host post. Simple is significant. You got to keep things simple. I don't like being overcomplicated. I keep my conversations so simple. And so I've been using her host post, and I've been using a mix of like our conversations, and then I created my own pricing. And the reason I say this is how I kind of figured it out. I was testing the waters at the end of last month for this, and then I mastered it at the beginning of this month. But basically, is if you're not confident with your messages, people can sense that on the other side. You have to be so freaking confident going into your conversations. Like, I know you're going to freaking love this, and assume the sale. When I sent pricing to all of these people, I assumed they were going to order on the spot. And I kid you not, and I don't say this to brag, but I probably had at least 7 people order on the spot. And that's not normal. But it's because I literally sent pricing. I'm like, oh, this girl's going to order. Oh, this girl's going to order. I'm so excited. And then I upsell. I don't like to settle for one product. I would say I've signed almost 20 PMs so far this month. I think I'm at 8. I'm about to sign my 18th. And only one of them was one product. All of them are packs, like 30-day drop and stuff. But I think also like in the conversations, sending the before and afters. This is what this girl's using and I'm using. And just be super excited. Voice messaging. Your page needs to see excitement. So another component, if your social media doesn't know you're going after this bonus, that is a huge red flag. Your social media needs to know you're going after a bonus. Your social media needs to know you're using the products. Why? Because why would somebody buy from someone that doesn't use their own products? And I'm not saying you have to use burn. Like if you don't need to lose weight, use like the hair products. Like we have something for everyone, the coffee, but just get loud about the products. Be excited. People want to order from people that are excited. But I've been doing a lot of burn hap. And then once I've been getting up so many of those and they're becoming my Facebook friend, I then made my own post of the burn. And it's getting tons of comments because I have all these new people and they're seeing it again. And so do you want me to kind of go in depth about my HAP conversation or?
Yeah, just maybe give us, and then you guys, by the way, I'm going to ask Kaitlyn to send me all of this, which I'm sure you will love to share because you are just amazing. One team, one mission, right? But don't worry. So like, you don't need to be in her inbox going like, hey, send me that. Just like, I'll get with her and I'll get you guys some of this info. But yeah, maybe just tell us real quick, like your process, like just like run through it real quick. And then that way, when I can get this from you, it'll make sense.
Yes. So again, do not overcomplicate this at all. Okay. So you have somebody post for you about the burn. Okay. You're going to probably get a bunch of comments. You're going to reply to each one, and just know it is normal to get blocked on Messenger to new people if you do a lot of host posts. And so a couple of days ago, there was like a day or two, I couldn't message new people, but I still signed a couple customers because I was having them all message me. So when you're getting comments, love the comment, reply, say, I'm so excited. Excitement sells. I'm so excited to share this with you. So-and-so posted for me. Make sure to add me, message me, burn, and I'll send you the details. Now, if you can message them, you can just say the same thing, but add me and I'll message you details. And then I'll go ahead and send them the message. And it just says something like, hey, saw you had commented on the post about being interested in Nature's Ozempic. How many pounds are you wanting to lose? Super simple. They're going to tell you, and then you're going to just send them a little blurb about burn. Oh my gosh, you're going to absolutely love this. A little blurb about burn. And then it asks like about, do you like caffeine free? And then they're going to tell you. Now, this is a little controversial, but this is what I've been personally doing is everybody I offer caffeine free. Why? Because the caffeine free pack includes burn. And then you can always upsell caffeine products. So you can always upsell the coffee. You can always upsell the TFX. I've been getting a better response to this way because I feel like when you do 30-day, and this is just a me thing, when you do 30-day drop and then you add the burn, I just feel like it's very overwhelming with so many supplements. So I've just been simplifying everything. And so I then, when they say caffeine or caffeine free, I'm like, okay, perfect. You're going to love this. And I just have like a little blurb of all four products. Well, I don't have to mention Burn again, but it has a little overview of the products, and it says, does this sound like something you want to try? Here's my key thing. I send the before and after right away. I've been using the girl Destiny's results. She's lost 30 pounds on the pack in 3 months. She has great results. So what I do is I send the before and after, and I say, here's my friend Destiny's results. Everybody's going to say, how much, how much, how much, how much, how much? And then the key thing is, I changed the pricing, and my pricing is so simple, you guys. It literally just sounds like me. It has like little heart emojis and stuff like that. But I literally just say it's amazing. Like if you just want to start off with Nature's Ozempic alone, it's only $55 a month as a VIP. But if you really want to maximize your results, I always recommend pairing it with at least a couple other products so you get the best results. If you want, you can add our debloater, which is the flat. I'll just say you can add the debloater. It's only $39 more. I do not offer 75, pick 275, by the way, at all. That's a follow-up if they eventually are like, I don't have the money, okay? Because I want them to stick with this pack for the long haul, right? So I say, if you want to add the debloater, it's only $39 more. Or if you want the ultimate, 30-day drop pack or ultimate, however I say it, pack that I use and my girl Destiny used, it's literally only, it includes all four products, which includes the Nature's Ozempic, and it's literally only $130. Which option do you want to start with? Or which option do you prefer? And 9 times out of 10, they say the $130. And then I go ahead and give them the little blurb of like, I'm so excited to get your order all set up. A little blurb about like the 3 months. And they're just so excited. And at the end, it just says, would it be easier for you to send me your info, or do you want me to send you the link? And they're just like, oh, I'll send you my info. What do you need? And then when I get ready to place their order, I upsell. So I offer like the cleanse because that's going to give them free shipping. And then if they mention caffeine, I'm going to be like, oh, by the way, real quick, do you drink coffee? And then you can mention like, awesome, like we have a fat burning coffee, this flavor. It's only this much for 55 for a 15-day supply or whatever for a month supply. Like, do you want me to go ahead and throw that in as well? And they're just like, yeah. Like I keep upselling until they tell me no twice is what I personally do. But that's kind of like my system. It's so simple. And the follow-up thing, I know you want me to kind of go into the follow-up thing. If they leave you on red, okay, normal. If they leave you on red during the information part, I always, and again, follow-ups from Kara. I was like, girl, this is chef's kiss. And I made it kind of like my own. But if they leave you on red with the information, I just say, hey, love, are you still interested? And I'll have like a little heart thing. I will also label my messenger. You want to make sure you organize all of your potentials in Messenger. That has been absolute fire game changer. Like if you're not doing that, you're missing out, because when you do that, it actually is like a follow-up because it updates your potentials. So I will label all of my potentials, the nickname thing, and I'll have the little fire emoji with their name. And it'll say like name, Burn plus Nature's Ozempic. So when I alert that, it notifies them. And so then they're like, wait, I'm interested. Yeah. It's a great way, but you can update it and then send them the follow-up like, hey, love, are you still interested? And then if you've sent them pricing, what I personally do is if it was earlier in the day, I'll follow up later that night. Or if I sent them pricing at night, I'll follow up with them like in the morning. And it just says, hey, love, I'm placing orders. Do you need help? And they're like, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, cool. And then you just get their order ready. And then you can always, if they're not ready, you can, here's another little key tip as well. If you've ever run into somebody that doesn't have the money, they're like, oh, I don't have the money. Okay. We get that all the time. The thing is it doesn't mean they don't have the money. See if they just need to wait till payday. Like 3 or 4 of my PMs this past week were from that. So if they say, I don't have the money, no worries. Do you just need to wait till payday? They're like, yeah, I get paid on Friday. Cool. What's your phone number? And I'll text you. And then I put them in my calendar. I keep it really simple. And then you can always turn, if they are like, no, I don't want this product, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. I offer host post. But I also offer the products in business after every host post as well, whenever they post for me. But that's basically everything in a nutshell.
That is so good. You guys, um, there's a couple things on here that I do not do that I'm going to do. And like the labeling messenger, I just learned about that. I think it was this morning actually. I saw a video and I'm like, and what basically what she does and what some other people do is you have a specific emoji. Say if it's a customer, potential customer, that you have like a specific emoji you
Yeah,
use.
like
Yeah,
look,
see?
look, if I search burn, look at all my potentials.
They have a little fire next to their
Yep.
nickname. They're nicknamed with like a fire emoji, and that means burn, right? So that is something that we need to implement is nicknaming all of our people in our messenger so it stays organized. And I love that. We need to start utilizing Tap Link. That is just gold. I've seen it. And I love that she said, be loud and proud about this bonus and the products, you guys. It doesn't, like she said, you don't have to have this huge weight loss success story in order to be successful. Are you using at least one product? And you know what? You don't have to wait until you've lost the weight, or you don't have to wait until you see the results to talk about it. Show somebody, show your social media every single day what you're using. What journey are you on? Are you growing your hair? Okay. Are you fixing your gut? Are you drinking your fat burning coffee? Are you using the shampoo and conditioner and leave-in conditioner that you got in your kit? You don't need to wait to have results or a story to share. And then every single one of us, if you are on here right now and you're watching and you're listening to Kaitlyn, we all need to go tonight and be loud and proud about how we are all going for $1,000 bonus by the end of next week. I mean, maybe sooner for some of you. Don't be like, well, I was gonna say Sunday, but Heather said next week. Whatever you feel. But I think every single one of us on here can go for that $1,000 bonus by the end of next week for sure, for sure. Um, excitement sells. Do you respond to people in your messages and just kind of go, well, how does that sound? Like, is that okay? Like, or do you go like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you to try this. Here are your options. Like excitement sells. I love that. Um, Kaitlyn, this is so, so, so good. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat for her. But before we end, I wanted to just kind of pick your brain a little bit. You said that your life and this business changed after you went to conference. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I sold Pampered Chef for like 11 years, like from the time I was like 19 until I was like 30. And because I loved Pampered Chef. I mean, I've been with my husband since we were 16. He went to college, he moved to Long Beach, and I went with him. And I was like the little housewife. We weren't married yet, but I love to cook, do all the things. And these women were talking about going to Michigan for a conference, and I thought they were so silly. I was like, who the heck is going to fly from California to Michigan to go talk about pots and pans? Like, I mean, I love selling this, I love using it, but these ladies are crazy. Like, there's no way. And so it's just funny to me because I just didn't see the vision then. I didn't grasp the concept of like what conference can do for you as a person and for your business. So I used to be the one to make fun of the ladies going to conference, and here I am on that boat, literally going to conference every year. So Kaitlyn, talk about like, so you're going to conference in January, and just tell everybody why they need to go. Like what, like if like the best advice you can give for somebody that's like me, either like heck no, I'm never going to go to that, or somebody that's already counted themselves out of like, nope, there's no way I'm going to be able to go to Florida in January. Absolutely not. Like, what are your tips for that?
If you don't go to conference, you don't take this serious. 100%. It's a non-negotiable. And also just know too, this is a little piggyback on like your task. I've been spending 90% of my time in my messenger. When I'm working, I literally spend majority of my workday in my messenger. And I stopped mindless scrolling. That's why I haven't been mass enrolling customers in a long time. I've been mindless scrolling. So that's one key component. But as far as conference, one thing I will say is when I first joined, I remember the day or day after I joined, my enroller, Brittany, literally told me next year, because I joined like during conference time.
I did
During
too.
during February. And so I think they were already in conference or whatever. But she told me, she's like, Kaitlyn, when conference is next year, you have to be there. Like it's a non-negotiable. And I'm just like, okay. Like I was just like, all right, whatever. But I will tell you this, my very first conference, I literally had just gotten laid off of my job. I had no money, you guys. I literally maxed out my credit card to go to conference. I slept on the floor. I ate PB&J. All the girls went out to eat. Me and like one other girl literally ate in the room because I was so dead broke. And I was about to start a brand new job like the following week when I got back home. Like that's how dead broke I was. And I crammed in a car. We drove 9 hours to from North Carolina to Florida. I was like, I don't know, but all I was told is if I want to work, if I want to be successful with this, I have to be there. Like I didn't think I had no idea what I was looking into. Let me tell you this. There's just something about being surrounded by people that want more for you. Because especially when you're at home, if you're surrounded by like a lot of negativity, you are the average of the five people that you surround yourself with. So if you're constantly surrounding yourself around people that bring you down, you need to be at events. It literally just changes you. It brings out so much confidence. There's just always like that one story that you hear that it just changes everything for you. But I have two things to share about this. My first conference, it changed everything for me, obviously, but I will say this, my first conference, I didn't implement a single thing from conference. So there's two people that go to conference. There's a type A type of person that goes to conference and they absorb everything and they run with it. There's another type person that goes to conference, they absorb things, but they don't implement anything. So my first conference, and I'm saying it because I've been both. My first conference, I didn't apply anything. Obviously, I was still super excited. I still signed people from it, but I watched everyone else promote because they implemented. But when I went again and I was like, this is ridiculous. All these people are a higher rank than I was. And this was back when we had the lanyards. I was so pissed off. I had a Ruby lanyard 2 years in a row. I was so mad. I was like, this is stupid. But there's nothing wrong with being a Ruby. Ruby was great at the time. But I will say this, that conference, I absorbed literally everything. I heard what I needed to hear and I literally ran. The people that go to conference and apply everything, I think it's like 75 to 90%, you are more likely to actually like promote, if not double promote right after conference. And so, there's a reason why all the top leaders go to conference.
Yeah.
It's because it's a non-negotiable. And so I know for me, like it is a non-negotiable. I don't care what life is happening. You will never see me miss an event. The only time I've ever missed an event it was green carpet a few years ago. And I literally physically could not leave my job. And that was the year I decided to go diamond because I was so pissed off at my job. I was so mad. I requested off like 3 months in advance and they denied me because we didn't have enough workers that week. And so, that's what really, fueled me. But all I'm saying is, when I went to conference, like that time, a couple months later, I went diamond. When I went again, 25 days later, I went double. 25 days, double, diamond. And then the next year, we went triple shortly after. Like, and again, remember I was paid as a Ruby. I went to conference, went triple. Like, what? If this business is important to you, you will figure it out. Do not worry about the childcare. I know my girl Kelsey's on here too. She lives in Cali. She flies every year, just like Heather flies all the way because it's important. It's important. And let me tell you this, when you go to events, it creates so much FOMO on your social media. Every time I go to an event, I have girls messaging me, oh, I'm ready to jump back into this business. Oh, I'm ready to do this. It creates so much FOMO. And it's fun because you literally get to make so much content. All the girls that have before and afters, you get to take photos with them. It's so easy for content because you literally have so many photos with everyone. Like it sets you up for months. So like having a photo with Heather, I could be like, this is my girl Heather. Here's her results. Here's my girl Kelsey. Here's her results. But there's just something about meeting everyone in person. And I just can't express it enough. if you don't take the if you really want to make good money, you have to be there.
Yeah.
I don't care what it takes. Earn the Christmas cash and it will cover you going.
Yeah.
Like it's a non-negotiable if you want to have success in this business because you get to be surrounded by people in corporate. And the one thing I love most about this company is we always have worship nights as well too. Like we are a Christian-based company. They literally pray over every single seat before we get there. And I literally get chills every time when they say that, like, yes, we literally prayed for every single seat because they care about you. And so I know that was kind of like a lot, but at the end of the day, it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And it's funny how all of my leaders, my diamond above leaders, they always are there. And they're the ones that have still been here for years
Mm-hmm.
because they go to conference every year and it's life changing and it's life changing for your new people too. Your team needs to see you there. So when you're there, it inspires them. And when you have at least a new person with you, it inspires them so much to dream bigger that they're just ready to change their life with you as well.
Yeah. You guys, my first conference, it was almost about a year after I had started. And do you know that like kind of like Kaitlyn's story, I came back from conference and in I think it was like 30 days, I earned a $25,000 bonus after coming home from conference. $25,000 bonus. And you guys, here's the other great thing that I didn't when I was making fun of the Pampered Chef ladies. I didn't realize that because it's a conference for your work from home business, the entire trip is a tax write off. Everything. It is a business trip. So everything that you do to get there and while you're there is a tax write off. I was like, oh, so I could have like hung out with like these ladies in Michigan and it was a business trip. So you guys, and like she said, if it's childcare, you guys, it's November. See what you can do. See what you can do. If you can figure out a way to have a girls' trip, you can figure out a way to have go to conference. If you can figure out a way to have a trip for just you and your husband for whatever reason, you can figure out a way to get to conference. So that's what we're trying to say. And I just hope you guys all get off of this Zoom tonight and you're like, yeah, this is you guys. So I've had some girls trips and I've had some girls trips, right? And my It Works conferences have been the best girls trips I've ever had. And I'm like, I make money while I do this. We call it a paycation because we get paid to go and have a vacation together. So
So
um, if you guys want to get your conference ticket, you go to your eSuite, eSuite.itworks.com, and you click orders at the top, and it's the first little tab. The first tab is conference. And I love it. You said birthday trip, January 20th. Yes, because it's the 25th through the 27th, I believe. So that would be an amazing birthday to go to Florida, Sarasota, Florida, and you get to learn how to make lots of money and you're around like-minded, positive people, and it's just so great. So
I think they're also doing headquarters tours as well.
oh, that's right. I did hear that
It
headquarters
is
tour.
so freaking cool, you guys.
I
Like,
haven't been, I've seen the outside, but I haven't been inside yet. So,
so
yeah,
fun.
yeah. So, all right, you guys. So, I'm going to stop the recording.